Okay, this is the last time, I promise. And welcome back to LinkedIn Logs, the jobs podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. I come to you on this day of days, this Tuesday of Tuesdays, when I find out the answer to that question. Do I have something in the books, on the burner, baby? Let's recap. A couple weeks ago, probably like 5 weeks ago at this point. It feels like 5. It might be 4. It might be 6. Who knows? But it feels like a long time. A couple weeks ago, more than a couple weeks ago, I need to start the timer. I had an interview at a company that I previously did some freelance work for. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. They did not remember. I do the initial interview process. I do 2 tests. I do a third round. And I think there's a fourth in there. I don't remember. But I met one of the VPs. And it seemed like everything was going all right. Pretty decently. I talked to the VP. VP's like, hey, we're talking to other people too. Other people? That was my reaction. And he's like, so we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right. The other people, the 2 people I interviewed with previously, who I was going to work alongside with, they're like, hey, we're talking to other people, which is fine because that was an initial interview. Then I did well in the tests. Then I meet the VP, which to me, but besides meeting the owner of the company, the president, to me, that signals that I am, in the bag. Turns out, I took a sip of coffee for a dramatic effect. It's been 2 weeks since I last talked to anybody, which is a long time. This is for every recruiter. This is for every person hiring. 2 weeks is a very long time. You either get with it or get off the pot, because other people got to take a dump. That's how the first toilet, you had an outhouse. People are, come on, Paul, I gotta take a shit. This is a clean show, but I had to curse for the effect. Jerry Seinfeld was wrong. Bill Cosby was wrong. I'm not going to get out on a Bill Cosby tangent. He's a bad guy, right? It turns out. Oh, God. And then he also did those things to those ladies. Like he was bad for comedy, and then that happened. Okay. 2 weeks go by. And like for the past 3 days, I've been in the shower going, man, I wonder when I'm going to get a notice about this position. The easier thing is to just email people or give them a call. People don't answer their phones, and also I don't have a phone number for these people. So just email them. But also, there's 2 things. It's funny because people are like, recruiters especially the WBD recruiters, they're like, reach out to us, call us if you have anything. I'll always answer my phone. I'll always answer an email, and then I get bupkis from them. Speaking of bupkis, that show, Pete Davidson said he's not bringing it back. It did pretty well on Peacock, and then he released a statement that said that part of my life is over. I'm done. I'm moving on to other projects. I'm like, dude, you have a TV show on Peacock. This morning in the shower, after the gym, after me sitting at the breakfast table for an hour, it was very true. I ate breakfast and then I just kind of sat there just looking through my phone, looking on YouTube. Particularly, I was looking at YouTube videos of clips of Conan. Took a shower, And I was wondering, as the water ran through my ear, what in the world happened to Straight Arrow News? Boy, I hope I get that job. I get an email as I'm sitting here on my computer about 2 hours ago, after the shower, after I lotioned up, after I put my deodorant on, put my conditioner, my leave-in conditioner, my curl cream, 2 separate things. After I brush the beard, oh yeah, put on my face lotion. None of that is in the exact order. Erect order. Oh boy. After I weighed myself every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. After the heaviest workouts. I get an email from, I'm not going to name this person, from the vice president I had an interview with. And I'll read you the exact words because I don't care. Morning, Chad. Apologies for the length of this process. Sadly, it turns out the company has decided not to fill this role. We've been asked to find ways to save money, so we're eliminating this position. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope things go well for you down the road. Best, comma, lowercase, of the initials of this person's name. And I was like, I responded and said, bummer, thanks for letting me know. Because there's nothing I could say to that. He put in as much, which was nice that he even got back to me. Because that's more to say than 2 particular Warner Brothers Discovery recruiters who I am thinking about right now. One of them may have just posted on LinkedIn. Let me check. I shouldn't get weighed down by that stuff. But anyway, yes. So I did not get that position at the freelance thing, which is thumbs up for the Apple Video, which is one of the. I mean, it stinks, and they were going to pay middling prices, but but it just. You can't really rely on that, and you can't really just focus on that. You just got to keep moving on. It's interesting. When I had the interview with this person, which is one of the VPs, his exact words to me were, "I hate." He didn't say hate. He was like, it was below hate, but definitely above did not like. He's like, let's just say hate for lack of a better word. He goes, I hate this. The position we're interviewing for, I don't think not the position. He hated what the position would oversee, which is the opinion section. He goes, I hate the opinions, and I think we should find better people to write the opinions and definitely do some other stuff. And I was just like, yeah, man, it seems like it sucks. I'm looking at the opinions. I'm agreeing with him, but I'm also giving it merit. And that's truly just what happened with that. No harm, no foul, whatever. Yesterday, around noon, before I headed off to my horrible part-time job, the fact that I can't, it's at a country club. The fact that I can't sit down, and if members walk by me, and I'm sitting down and they can complain. Get the hell out of here with that. Hey, that guy's sitting down. How dare he? I'm not kidding. No, I don't want to say this because what if it happens? Anyway. So yesterday before I leave, again for the horrible, not very good, terrible. What's the name of that movie? Alexander, which was based on a book, I think. Alexander and the Not So Very Good, Horrible, Terrible, Bad Day, which is a fantastic movie. It made me laugh out loud. I may have watched it 3 months ago. It was around Christmas time, yeah. So 3 months ago. Anyway, it was a Saturday morning. I was working out and I was watching that movie. It was very funny. Maybe because I was high on my adrenaline. I applied to several jobs that I found just, doing some super hardcore searching. I went deep into the pages, which really stinks on LinkedIn. I went deep into those pages trying to find something that I have very specific filters and parameters that was posted recently that does not have over 100 applicants. You don't know if they respond quickly or not, but I generally try to aim for that stuff. What else did I do? What else did I aim for? Freelance, US, all that stuff. Editor, whatever. The editor, writer, whatever. I found a freelance writing position. I actually applied to 3 different jobs at this specific place. I'm not going to say what website. It is a website. It's a website I go to. It's not IGN because they would not answer any of my applications ever for the past 10 years. Very true. I did. So I applied for this freelancing position. Actually, I applied for an evergreen position. I'm really narrowing it down, the website. I applied for an evergreen writer position. Then one, finally, at 4:34 p.m., right when I get home, I get an email from one of the talent acquisition coordinators saying, hey, I've reviewed your samples and I think you would be a better fit for our news writer position. They drop some information. You're expected to write 15 news articles per month, tight deadlines. They're charging between $25 and $40 per article, which is, but hey, what are you going to do? That may or may not be more than I make right now. But she offered up a test. So there are 2 tests I had to do. If I'm specific about the tests, then that will definitely give away the site. It's a very niche site, but it is a site that I go to. It is on the RSS feed. Again, I use an RSS feed to call all of my news into one place, so I don't have to open up 76 apps or websites. So the test sample 1 was to write about a device, something that happened with a device. And the test number 2 is to write about another technological thing. I was too tired to look at the thing yesterday, but I knew it was there. Start it, put it in a calendar. We're going to do it. Boom, this morning, I get that email. And I'm like, oh, drats. This news company, again, has screwed me over. I don't know if I ever talked about the first time they screwed me over. I guess I will tell that story. It's really quick. It's just a very quick anecdote. I did that freelancing position for them. I shot the video and I did whatever I needed to do. And then they were like, hey, this is a good start. We're going to pay you, but we're also going to need you to do some more editing on the video. At first I edited, I didn't know what they wanted because they weren't really specific. So, I did a 9-minute version of the video and then they were like, this is too long. And I was like, all right, that makes sense. 9 minutes is way too long. No, I think it was like 6 minutes because I'm talking about a different video that I did for a different company. Oh no, I did 2 videos for this. Oh my God, that's right. I did 2 videos for them. They paid me for 1. Interesting. Oh man, I just remembered that. I have both. All right, so the first video I did for them, they're like, cool. Second video I did for them, they were like, cool, too long, 9 minutes. And I said, great, I'm going to cut it down. They said 3 minutes. I said, awesome. I held up 2. So I cut it down in 3 minutes. They were like, great. Just we have one more thing to talk to you about regarding the video. They paid me for that one. That's the one they paid me for. The check came 2 weeks later. First of all, they paid me a check. And then the person that was in contact with me in the middle of that process, he was being pulled in every which way. So somebody else was hired to backfill some of his duties. And so he handed me off to that person. That person's like, hey, nice to meet you. Never got back to me. Never, ever got back to me. I reached out. I was dropped. The website was a news website, is a news website because it still exists. But they were trying to do hyper local news, and I mean hyper local. Like they were trying to do stories within your neighborhood. So they're a worldwide website that does worldwide news, mostly United States politics and business and stuff. And then they were like, "Hey, you live in not just Atlanta, you live in Inman Park, Old Fourth Ward. Are there any news stories there?" And I'm like, no. Like this isn't 11 Alive. This isn't WSB. This isn't Atlanta News First. This isn't Fox 5. You can't just say, "Hey, find us a hyper local story. Oh, this new restaurant opened at Krog Street Market." Like no one, the person who lives across the United States is not going to give a hoot about that. Anyway, this is longer than I thought it was going to be. I do the test for this new freelancing opportunity, and then I send it in. The person is she's like, "All right, well, it was a she." The person is like, "Thank you for sending these over so quickly. I'll pass them off to our editorial team. She'll do her best to get back to me in a week." So now I'm just playing the waiting game. But hey, that's not exactly what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this for 15 minutes. According to the timer, it's been 16:52, but I'm also looking at the timer that's on the iPad that I started a minute and a half too late. I also want to talk about pay. We are in the middle of people are losing jobs in the entertainment industry. Paramount's looking to sell off, which will, of course, result in more jobs lost than they've already lost before. But CEOs are getting paid more than ever. After a year of, I think, like some type of lesser pay for them. And by lesser pay, I mean like they finally took a hit. Instead of growing year over year. Both David Zaslav and Ted Sarandos gained a lot more wealth. This comes from WSJ, Wall Street Journal. Written by Joe Flint and Theo Francis, Warner Bros. Discovery lost money last year. True, its CEO got a $50 million payday. As people lost jobs, I know people who are still getting let go from Warner Bros. Discovery. I know people who can't even get hired back. David Zaslav received a pay value of $49.7 million, which is a 27% increase from 2022. That's 3 times as much as the $15.6 million median pay of S&P 500 CEOs whose compensation had been disclosed through late March. Zaslav Stock Award, which was about... Hold on, let me get this. Overall, Zaslav's compensation included a $3 million salary, $23 million in stock awards tied to cash flow, and a guaranteed $22 million cash bonus. So his stock award was given to him because of free cash flow, which doubled to $16.16 billion last year as they tried to pay down their, I think, $50 billion of debt or something like that. Whatever the stupid amount of money it was. There have been cut costs all over the place. CNN has seen a ton of cut costs. You're seeing shows and movies be basically pimped out to other streaming platforms like Netflix got Sex and the City, and Sopranos will be over there at some point. They have Insecure right now. You'll see a lot of Warner stuff on Tubi as well. Stuff that you can't even get anywhere else now is now on Tubi as opposed to Max itself. They're dealing with tighter budgets, staff reductions, and they're also writing off projects like Coyote versus Acme and the Batgirl movie. Zaslav also received perks, including personal security at his various residencies, valued at, he's not sitting down playing instruments or telling jokes. Valued at over more than $700,000 and $768,000 for use of the corporate jet. It seems, it's just stupid that how people writers and actors had to, and then, at some point, Teamsters will, and directors avoided this, and producers will. I mean, just anybody in a union, in a guild, had to or will have to go on a strike because they're not getting paid enough money to make a living wage. And yet people like David Zaslav and Ted Sarandos are walking away with, $50 million for sitting around and going, that works, this doesn't. And a lot of times they're wrong. So free cash flow reflects funds available to a company after operating expenses and capital investment. You can really make headway of that just by listening to what we talked about. For compensation purposes last year, let me finish that sentence. It's free cash flow is one measure investors use to gauge a company's health. For compensation purposes last year, WBD disregarded about $1 billion in cash flow that resulted from the 2023 strikes by writers and actors, which temporarily reduced movie and television production expenses. Now, this next part comes from Todd Spangler at Variety. Netflix's Ted Sarandos 2023 pay dips slightly to $49.8 million. Co-CEO Greg Peters' compensation tops $40 million. Now, by slightly, they mean truly slightly. He's at $49.8 million last year. In 2022, he made $50.3. His base salary of $3 million, along with $28.3 million worth of stock option awards, a cash bonus of $16.5, and a $1.98 million in other compensation, which is like the personal use of the company aircraft, which was $620,013, and $1.3 million for his residential security costs. The median employee compensation for Netflix's employees for 2023 was $200,761. The ratio of Sarandos's compensation to the median employee was 248 to 1. Oh, God. I mean, and even Reed Hastings got $11.29 million, including $10.64 million in stock options, and $136,092 for personal use of the company aircraft. And he is the Netflix's executive chairman, even though he stepped down as co-CEO last year. It is, you see these companies complain about how money is for them and how they have to write things down, and how they are scaling back productions. Particularly in Netflix's case, they said, hey, we're going to make less movies and we're going to make them better. You're taking away from the workers. And even if you are in this, this is not bereft of no other companies that I like. Even the people in their positions they're not excused from this as well. I'm sure Bob Bakish over at Paramount made a mint. I'm sure Bob Iger made around the same amount of money, if not more. It's unfortunate to see pay like this, even if half of it is in stock. It's unfortunate to see pay like this not be distributed. And that sounds kind of what was Bernie Sanders running under? Not communist. That's not what I'm talking about. But to have all of that wealth and to not be able to distribute it among the people who work at Netflix, who are doing the good jobs, to use money like that in order to make the movies better, to make the TV shows better, to make the specials better. Instead, just give it to one person or two people in the case of Netflix, one person at Warner Brothers. That says you don't have as much confidence in your product than you do this old fat white guy that's in charge of the company. I'm never going to be able to work at Warner Brothers again. But I think that's a good way to put feet to fire. It's if I can challenge them, then they should be able to do the same thing. Okay, so actually included in the WSJ article, Bob Iger made $31.59 million. Bob Backish made $31.26. Michael Rapino at Live Nation, Jesus, made $23.44 million. By emphasizing cash flow so heavily, Warner Brothers Discovery shifted Zaslav's pay away from the mainstream for the biggest U.S. public companies. Data from ISS Corporate, a unit of Rockville, Maryland-based institutional shareholder services show. Over the past 5 years, the share of companies using sales or stock market metrics has grown somewhat, while other measures have stayed fairly flat. Companies can use multiple performance measures when setting pay. I mean, this guy, David Zaslav, was paid $3 million in cash, with a cash bonus of $22 million. I know this is not how this lifestyle works or how this industry works, but if I were somebody who was in that position and really, really trusted in the company or what we can do, then I would do a lot like what people in the 80s did and 90s did, when the actors in the 80s and 90s did, is take a small salary up front. And I'm not saying it has to be that $3 million salary, but it can be something, if that's what they top him out at, then that would be what it is. But take something small and then just ask for points in the back end. Because isn't that what Schwarzenegger did for, I think, movies like, I don't know. Let me see. Arnold Schwarzenegger points on the back end. Let me Google that. His highest paid film. He refused to get payments for, what was this? What movie is this? Be specific. Is it Terminator? All right. No, it's not Terminator. Okay. Then what movie is it? Twins. Okay. So for Twins, I was thinking it's Twins. For Twins, Arnold refused to get payments for the movie. This comes from essentiallysports.com. He wanted points in the back end. They agreed to 45% of the movie after it was released, and the studio could produce the movie for $18 million. In the end, it got Twins made $216 million in theaters alone. Arnold ended up with $35 to $40 million for the movie. If I had that much confidence in, say, what the new Star Wars movie, or in the new I don't know, what does Warner do? I don't know, what movies are they putting out? In the new Barbie movie, if that's testing well, or if for Paramount, if Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is testing well, or is projected to make X amount of money, then I would just go, okay, let me make $10 million guaranteed. Don't worry about the bonus, and don't worry about the stock, or give me like 7% in stock, whatever. And let's allocate those funds to all of the projects we have, and let's get people to stay on Max. Let's get people to stay on Disney Plus, so they don't have to go anywhere else. I know, I understand. That's not how this works. When rich people want money and they want to continue being rich, look at me. I got nothing. But that's how I would think right now. I would just give trust to the process, I guess. The pay just seems unfair. It's an unfair advantage, and it does not, I mean, especially if you get $22 million in cash bonus. Oh, my God. What do you need multiple residences for? I don't know. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where I've got so many great things. I've got 4 interviews. I have 4 freaking interviews coming out. And you can go to cpluscomedy.com and you can sit down and you can watch them and listen to them. There are some audio only ones over there. It's not my fault. I definitely try. But there's 4 new ones coming out soon. I'm not going to say their names. You got to go to cpluscomedy.com to see. You can also, that's where you can also find our other podcast, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, which is the Late Night Show recap podcast, I guess. Not recap. And the Constitutionals podcast, which is the Entertainment Business News podcast, which is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. You can see video versions of those shows on youtube.com/cpluscomedy, as well as this show. You can see news time there. That'll be back soon, apparently. I will be, I promise. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at cpluscomedy. Follow me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much, and give me a job, baby.